afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Russia. It's round 8 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, and it's the Patron MXGP of Russia. We return to Orlynoc for the third year in succession, but the first Grand Prix that we ever had in Russia was back in 1962. Torsten Hallman of Sweden, riding a 250cc Husqvarna, was the victor that day. And over the years, 32 Grand Prix have been held here since 1962, 9 different venues. We've had 38 winners, 28 individual winners, because some of those have been double or triple. But 3-time wins belong to Torsten Hallman and Joel Robert, so we have to go back to the old school for all of that. But more recently, though, this venue itself, the last 2 years we came here, Urs Jonas was the winner in MX2, riding a KTM. Will there be another KTM victorious here today, or will it be another brand of motorcycle sitting on the top step of the podium? My name's Paul Malin. Welcome to Russia. It's round 9 of the FIM Motocross World Championship. We are on the east shores of the Black Sea. That is that beautiful stretch of water that you can see over there. The race very much treated kind of like a flyaway. No race trucks, no support units. Flight cases are the norm for this particular racetrack and venue, and so everybody with the bare minimum. There's your first look at the racetrack here in terms of map form. It's an uphill start, but before we go anywhere, though, if you didn't see race 1, here they are. The gate dropped, and it was Darian Sanai, the American, who snuck through the inside on his bike at DRT Kawasaki, grabbed his first foxhole shot of the season for him and Kawasaki. Jorge Prado was in about 8th or 9th place, because in second we had the 193 of Jago Kietz, but making moves early on, the 19 of Thomas Olsen carved his way up the inside of Vial, but Vial wasn't having any of it as those two battled over 3rd place. Prado, your championship leader, edged up the inside of Mitch Evans to take over 5th as early as lap 2. And then Olsen eventually did find his way past the 28 of Vial, and before the end of the lap, the 193 Yamaha of Jago Kietz, and found himself in second, going after Darian Sanai. Meanwhile, Prado was up behind his teammate, made his move to go 4th. Sanai, though, his time lasted 7 laps at the front. That was the move that Olsen put on the American, and then very quickly after that, the floodgates opened. Prado was up into 3rd as he passed Jago Kietz, and then moved into 2nd with this pass on Sanai just before the halfway mark. Then Sanai made a mistake that allowed Jago Kietz through into 3rd place. But then Vial moved up into 4th. Evans moved up into 5th. Sanai, though, battled on bravely and came home in 6th position, his best result of the year so far. Battle for 8th involved a freight train of riders. Davy Puches went out, still feeling the after effects of a crash at a national championship race a week ago. Henry Jacobi was a hard charger. He moved aside the Frenchman Matthias Boisromé. That allowed Ben Watson through as well. And then, a lap and a half to go, Prado dove down the inside of Olsen, took over the lead, and went on to win his 12th race win of the season. Olsen was second, Kietz, Vial, Evans, your top 5. So that was race 1. A few moments ago, Lisa Leyland was down on the grid. She caught up with Darian Sanai and Thomas Kjærulsen.
Well, we just saw those first 2 races catch a lot of the guys out, and I definitely think that the weather's playing a part in this as well. But as always, I want to grab a couple of guys before the second races, the first being TKO. A rare good start for you in that first race. You couldn't quite make the win, but you must be pretty pleased with that first performance.
Yeah, I was pretty happy. I got out to a pretty good start and worked my way into the lead and led for a lot of laps. Yeah, I did what I could, and I felt like I was riding really good. Yeah, just with 2 laps to go, I got past, but I was still trying to hang on to him and give him a push in the end. Finished up 2nd, so that's good for the first motor. And yeah, just looking to get a good start in 2nd motor too.
I mean, the hot conditions here are really, making it difficult for everyone. I mean, is it a case of trying to save some energy in that first race for the second race? Is that how it works, or what's your plan on it?
My plan was just to go all out that first motor I was leading, so I was just trying to give it everything that I could. Didn't quite work out for me, but I'm feeling good for 2nd motor.
Good luck. Thank you. Okay, I'd like to speak to Darian Sanai now about your performances here so far this weekend. You were leading qualifying, you were leading that first race for a good 15 minutes. Good track for you?
Yeah, I would say so. I got pretty good starts both races. I was second on the start yesterday, and then I got the whole shot in that first race today. And yeah, I led almost 15 minutes, I think. So that was pretty good. I would say, like in France, I probably would have done a little bit better too. But the way that the gate was dropping in France, I couldn't really figure it out, and I couldn't get good starts. But thankfully, my bikes get me out to a good start, and I did all right in that first race.
Would you say you're perhaps more accustomed to these heat conditions, or is that playing a part at all?
Yeah, but then with my fitness and then the virus and everything, I don't ride, I don't train, I don't do anything. So by 15 minutes, I was so done in that race. I was just hanging, just trying to get there. And I saw I had a little bit of a gap, so I just rode smooth to get sixth. And yeah, I mean, I don't really know how well I'm going to do this race, but I'd like to try to get a good start and run up front again.
Have a good one. Thanks, Darian. Good luck to all the guys here. It's time for MX2 race 2.
So here's how the top 5 in the championship looked then. Before we came here, Jorge Prado was 14 points clear of Thomas Olsen, but the Spaniard winning over the Dane that time around means that lead has gone out to 17 points now, so 322 to 305. And then Iago Kietz, who was third, 237, Jacoby and Evans running out the top 5. So Evans still hanging on in there. He was 23 points behind Jacoby. It's now 20 points. But let's take a quick look then at the start list for MX2 Race 2. Jorge Prado goes to the line on pole for the 4th time this year. Thomas Olsen second, Iago Kietz, Mitchell Evans, Michele Chervelin, Tom Vial, Matej Borame, Darian Sanai, Jed Beaton, Henry Jacoby, Bas Varsen, Ika Larinaga, Brian Moreau, Zach Pichon, and Alvin Osland, your top 15. The Patron MXGP of Russia here at Orlyanoq. MX2 Race 2, 30 minutes plus 2 lap, about to get underway here. Let's check in with our riders first of all. There is your winner from race 1, Jorge Prado. 12 wins now for the championship leader during this season. Of course, he's only been beaten once, and that was Iago Kietz 2 weekends ago at the previous round in France, where the Belgian won the first race. Thomas Karros, Rockstar Energy Husqvarna rider, he is there getting ready. He was second in race 1. He led from lap 7 to lap 18 before he was passed with just a lap and a half to go by the Spaniard. And third, Iago Kietz on the Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha. But Henry Jacoby had to fight hard through the field. He was outside of the top 20 as they came through the line on the opening lap. He eventually came through to 8th, just behind Maxime Renault. In fact, he split the two Yamaha SM Action MC Migliori boys. Iago Kietz, a fantastic third for him. He was strong in the latter stages as well. He caught Olsen and put a challenge in for second, but wasn't able to make the pass. Just saw Adam Sterry there, the second of the F&H Kawasaki riders. He was 14th in race 1, but a fantastic ride for Mitchell Evans, the Honda 114 Motorsports rider. 5th place finish for him. He's putting himself in a good position for a potential podium here at the end of this one. Tom Vial, likewise. He was 4th for Red Bull KTM in race 1. See the riders just making their way to the grid. It's about a 95-meter uphill start here. Nice and wide on the entry, but it's 180. Darian Sanai, Bike at DRT Kawasaki, grabbed the foxhole shot in race 1. His first and Kawasaki's first of the season. But we know he's been struggling with fatigue after Epstein-Barr during the winter, and he doesn't know, talking to him in the pre-grid interview just a moment ago, how much he has left for the second race, but you never know. If he gets a good start here and another foxhole shot, then of course he will be looking to try and keep it out front as long as possible. The 142 there, Jari Havisto. Normally find him in European 250 Championship, but stepping up to MX2 this weekend. The Fly Racing 15-second board up then for the second time of the day. MX2 Race 2, the Patron MXGP of Russia here at Orlyanoq. The 5-second board getting ready to turn over on the sort of middle of the right-hand side of the gate. You'll see Jorge Prado. Is he going to pull the foxhole shot? Well, he gets a good jump coming out of the gate this time around. And the young Spaniard, it might be, who has control on the exit of the turn, and Sanai comes out in second position. But Prado, for the 10th time this year, with the foxhole shot in MX2. And Sanai just behind him. Olsen does get the start that he wanted. And Mitchell Harrison. So 2 Americans inside the top half a dozen positions as they head uphill for the first time. There you see dropping downhill into the first of several canyons here at this Russian racetrack. Everybody just trying to open themselves up. There's Vial in orange on the face of the jump. There's his teammate leading the way. Water has gone down. It will be slippery in places. They would have ripped one or two areas to hold moisture as well, like this part of the racetrack here, charging down into turn 8, bottom of the hill. But it's Prado who leads. Sanai second, Olsen in third. Number 19 could do with passing the American as quickly as possible because he is going straight up in a head-to-head shootout for the championship with the guy who leads this one. Of course, the number 61 of Jorge Prado, but another good start. We saw how effective that was for Darian Sanai in race 1. He led for the first 6-7 laps. Michele Chervelin in yellow in 4th place. Then the 193 of Jago Kietz. And then we have Mitchell Harrison, Bud Racing Kawasaki, his first visit from the United States to America. There he is at the top end of the screen, coming through the wave section now, the number 35. But the two Yamahas here, Chervelin and Jago Kietz, very greasy on this part of the racetrack, as you can see. But Sanai still hanging on to that second position on this opening lap. That'll be good confidence boost for him. We'll get the riders over line this time around. Jed beaten up into 9th. He was 15th at the first split. Taking out some of the ruts. They were deep and nadgery and gnarly after MXGP race 1. But you can see a hefty amount of water has gone down at the start of race 2. But it's Prado who leads. A 1.5 second advantage over Sanai. In third is Olsen. But Harrison coming down the straight for Jago Kietz. Kietz just finds his way back past, actually, because they went through 5th and 6th, Harrison, Kietz, but Kietz just finds his way past the Bud Racing Kawasaki rider. There he is on the face of the jump now. Then we have Tom Vial in orange. So it's Prado, Sanai, Olsen, Chervelin, Kietz, Harrison, Larinaga, Vial, Beaton, and then Vasson in 10th place. And Prado just starting to streak clear at the top of the hill there, as he continues to lead on his Red Bull KTM. Jacoby in 12th place, Ben Watson 13, Sakina 14, Dylan Walsh 15, Mitch Evans, not the start the Australian wanted, Warame 17, Gustavo Pessoa, David Butchers, Brent Van Donnick, they are your top 20. But Olsen felt good after race 1. Obviously the rider's not used to the heat. We've gone from a mild sort of early summer in Europe to baking hot conditions here. Very humid and 30 degrees here this weekend in Russia. So something of a bit of a sort of a wake-up call, if you like. But you see how slick it is on the exit of that turn, and Kietz couldn't get over that step down. That has given a lifeline to Michele Chervelin, just ahead of him on that Yamaha SMX and MC Migliori machine. There is, and a light up at the back end as well for the Belgian. Then we've got Harrison right behind him. Remember, he was a visitor to the podium at the US Grand Prix at Glen Helen a few years ago, 2016 in MX2, so he has tasted the podium fizz. Can he get this race out of the way and put in a good, solid performance here? Because Harrison, 24th in the championship before we arrived here. He was only welcome to the championship at the 4th round at Trentino in Italy. And he's only put together 4 scoring rides in the first 4 rounds that he did. 5th scoring ride in race 1 earlier today, where he got 18th, but he has never been as high as 13th, as 11th, which he picked up in race 2 in Portugal. But Darian Sanai, the lead American in this race here at number 57, on the bike at DRT Kawasaki, now coming under close scrutiny once again from the 19 of Thomas Kjær Olsen, the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna rider. The gap between the leader and these two here, about 2.5 seconds. Sanai will do all he can to keep the Husqvarna rider behind him, but not going to be easy, not on a hot day like this. But Prado will need to know when to push as well, but Olsen has to push. He's got no alternative. If he wants to win the overall here and share the lead and in the points lead, in terms of those grabbed at the opening of the day here, then of course he has to go for broke, but he needs to make up a 3-second deficit to Jorge Prado in the next 25 minutes plus 2. Chervelin still in 4th, Jago Kietz still in 5th. They are coming into view now, just there. There's Jago Kietz in white, top of the screen. Then Harrison 6, Vial 7, Larinaga 8, Beaton is 9 of Australia, Bas Varsen from the Netherlands in 10 for Hitachi KTM UK. fueled by Milwaukee. 3 laps in the books. Jorge Prado sets the fastest lap of the race, a 42.4, 3/10 quicker and 5/10 quicker than Sinai and Olsen respectively. There's Jed Beaton, number 14, and Ika Laranaga. So Beaton just finding his way into 8th place with that pass on the Spaniard on the Marchetti Racing Team KTM, just here, number 66. And then just behind them, Vassenlook, number 98, on the Hitachi KTM UK machine. But Beaton had a good qualifying race yesterday. And first race today, Jed Beaton came home in 12th. But still no way through for Thomas Olsen. And with 23.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go, or thereabouts, Prado continues to lead, but it is Olsen now who takes over second from the American Darren Sinai. Michaela Chervelin is 4th, Yargo Geertz is 5th, and Mitchell Harrison, Bud Racing Kawasaki, is 6th. Yargo Geertz charges up the inside of Michaela Chervelin, so the Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha rider moves up a position and takes over 4th spot from the Italian Chervelin. Can he close down the guys ahead of him? He was efficient in race 1. He had a good pace going. There is 2nd and 3rd just ahead of him around the turn there, but how tricky that corner is now. Very wet, very slippery, but it's very hard and rocky underneath. So they would have ripped the track, but that rock is now starting to come through. The hard, drying clay dirt, like you have on the face of the finish line jump there, is also starting to show itself. But Prado leads 3.4 seconds now over Olsen. Sinai is 3rd, Geertz 4th, Chervelin 5, Harrison 6. Vial there, number 28, is in 7th. Good ride this from Mitch Harrison. Jed Beaton is 8th. We saw him pass Laranaga just a lap ago. Laranaga now 9, Vassen 10, Maxime Renault is 11, Watson up to 12. He has just found his way past the very difficult to pass Henry Jacobi. And then Dylan Walsh is next for Revo Husqvarna UK. Evans in 15th for Honda 114 Motorsports. A frustrating race then for the Australian. Then Sakina on the JD Gunnex KTM in 16th. Guarame, Honda Red Motor Asamotor. As Vial trying desperately to find his way past the number 35, Bud Racing Kawasaki of Mitch Harrison. Oh, and he slips and it hits the neutral there, Harrison. I think Vial would have made a way through. We'll soon find out if we see the flash of orange, or has he held on to it? Yeah, he just lost a position there, did Harrison. Caught a neutral as he went to get on the gas. There was nothing there. Had to jam it down into first. And all of a sudden, Jed Beaton is closing in as well, ready to make a pass on the number 14 Husqvarna. David Pooch is up to 17th. He's just nudged aside Guarame. This is Mitch Harrison just a moment ago. Was in neutral, had to hook to 2nd as he came out of that turn, but Vial eased him aside in the next turn, and Vial now up to 6th place. But it's Prado who continues to lead here with 21 minutes to go, MX2 race 2. Jorge Prado set the fastest lap again on lap 5. Here is your race leader on the Red Bull KTM, a 1:41.6. Thomas Olsen now 4.3 seconds behind him on the Husqvarna, 1:42.6 his lap time. So a full second gain on lap 5 by the young Spaniard here. Darren Sinai continues to sit in 3rd place with Bike It DRT Kawasaki. His lap time, though, of 43.3. He's 2 seconds behind Olsen, about 2 seconds clear of Yargo Geertz in 4th. But the Yamaha rider, 193, was a full second quicker than the American. So we are going to see Sinai come under pressure from the Belgian in due course. Chervelin is in 5th. Vial is 6th. He has just found his way past Mitch Harrison. Harrison slipped a gear a moment ago. Just moments before this wave section, a lap ago. And so Harrison on the Bud Racing Kawasaki is 7, Beaton is 8, and he has got him right in his radar as well. Laranaga is 9, Bas Varsen is 10, Renault 11 and Watson in 12th. But Thomas Kier Olsen, number 19 here in 2nd position. He led for 2/3 of the race in MX2 race 1. Did he blow himself out though, trying to push right from the very beginning? He had to pass a handful of riders to get to the lead, of course, but Prado was 8th at the end of the first lap in that first MX2 race. Bart Dirks, all good. Here's a signal from Prado's mechanic. Keeps it nice and low over the little scrub jump, and then drops down into this canyon for the first time, up onto the plateau. Will fall away to the left again through here. Little scrub jump, falling even deeper into the canyon and then up onto the plateau. An off-cambered left, a flick right, dropping down on the exit. Not once, but twice. But with 19 minutes plus 2 to go, Jorge Prado, who already has 12 race wins under his belt so far this season, is very much in control of this one. 66 Larranaga, 98 Bas Varsen. They're the two riders on screen going after Mitch Harrison, I think, yes. So Harrison 35 just ahead of them on the Patron jump now. He still sits there in 8th place. Here is your battle for 3rd though. Darian Sanai, the Bike It DRT Kawasaki rider, would be 4th overall if he stays where he is, but with 18 plus 2 to go, is that just a bit too much to chew for the American? The good thing is there's Jago Kiert, and there is a gap back to Michele Chervelin in 5th position, probably around about 4 or 5 seconds. So he will be safe, but you see how they've so they've ripped that corner there just before the start of the race, put some water in. Just one significant line now on the approach to that jump, so the rider's following in. And then it's polished as well on the exit, so you have to be easy on the gas to get over that corner step down. But Jago Kiertz last time around of 41.8 was quicker than Darian Sanai. What is it this time around at the end of lap 7? 42.3, 41.4. So again, Jago Kiertz chipping away. Tom Vial, Red Bull KTM. He is in 6th position. Michele Chervelin just ahead of him on the Yamaha SM Action MC Migliori machine. But a rugged racetrack here at Orlyanoq, Russia. The 3rd year in succession that we've been here. KTM have won previously on the 2 occasions with Puls Jonas, winning both times in 2017, 2018. He's now in MXGP, of course. But Jorge Prado was a winner in race 1. Is he looking at going 1-1 again here at this Patron MXGP of Russia here to keep that KTM streak alive? Of course, KTM have the most victories here in Russia as well since 1962, with 10 in all. Gets closer though than he was a lap ago. Getting ready to pick off Sanai as he looks to move into 3rd position. Yeah, he went for the inside there. There was a single to the inside before you hit the main wave section. But now he'll try to work the outside, try and get some kind of slingshot, cross over the line here, chase some dirt around the outside. Got good drive as he steps downhill, stays lower as well. Might run the American at the end of the straight here. He's going to have to land hard on the brakes and try to square off. Go wide and cut back to the inside if he can. He does that, and he times it to perfection. Jago Kiertz moves up into 3rd then at the end of lap 8. So Prado then, with 16 minutes to go, continues to lead by 7 seconds. Olsen, Kiertz and Sanai now your top 4. Tom Vial, Red Bull KTM, still circulating in 6th place, about a second behind Michele Chervelin. In fact, there is the gap to the Italian. Just behind him, Jed Beaton on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, but he's got about 3 seconds to make up to the young French teenager, just in orange on the top of the jump here. The Marchetti Racing KTM of Larranaga and Ben Watson have found their way past Mitch Harrison. Harrison now dropping down to 10th place. Maxime Renault is 11, Jacoby 12, Evans 13, Walsh up to 14. 15 is Sakina, Boirame is 16, Van Donnick and Vassen now down in 18th position. So a fall or a mistake of some sort for the Dutchman. Adam Sterry just behind him in 20th place. In fact, Vassen, hoping it's not a timing issue because he's out of the points at the moment. We'll soon find out next time around. Anyway, look at this little train here. Darian Sanai under attack in 4th position from Michele Chervelin and Tom Vial. So they've wasted no time in bridging that gap since Jago Kietz has found his way past. Here's Ika Larinaga on the right-hand side. Harrison around the outside on the Kawasaki, and he does find his way past the Spaniard. Aggressive riding that from the number 35 on the Bud Racing. Kawasaki gets himself back up into ninth place, I think. Bring him over the line so we can see for sure, but there is Chervelin going past Sanai for fourth. Vial is getting ready to go through for fifth place as well. The heat now starting to take its toll on Sanai. Doesn't ride, doesn't train during the week as he tries to ride himself back to fitness, but it's all changed here on lap 9. Just under 14 minutes plus 2 laps to go. MX2 race 2 here, the Patron MXGP of Russia here at All In Up. My name is Paul Malin. Jorge Prado's lead at the head of the field is now 7.7 seconds over Thomas Olsen. Jago Kietz is third, Chervelin is fourth. Sanai has now been pushed back to 6 on that green Kawasaki because Tom Vial on the KTM just ahead of him, number 28, just moved by just a few moments ago. Jed Beaton is in 7th. Ben Watson having a blinding ride through the field to get to 8th at the moment for Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha. He's just found his way past Mitch Harrison, who is 9th. And Jacoby for F&H Racing Kawasaki is now 10th. Maxime Renault is 11th. Teammate to Chervelin just dropping out of sight there. Ika Larinaga has now dropped to 12th place. And then we have Mitch Evans 13th. So a slow progress for the Honda 114 Motorsports rider in race 2. Started 15th, just picking off a couple of riders. Dylan Walsh behind him for Revo Husqvarna. Boiramé, Honda Red Motor, Asamoto. Van Donnick now up to 16th behind his teammate. Sakina for JD Gunnex KTM is now 17th. Osland 18th, Sterry 19th. Brian Moreau is in 20th position. Michele Chervelin, top of his screen, in yellow. On that Yamaha, getting caught now by Tom Vial as we near the end of lap 10. Sanai getting caught by Jed Beaton. So 6th place under threat for the American. He was 6th in race 1, put in a hard charge, but can he finish inside the top 10 here in race 2? Not going to be easy, but Watson will be closing in as well on both of these two riders. Just saw the 919 flash by our camera as they were on pit lane. There is Watson in the background, just coming into land any moment now behind these guys. You'll see him flash by there, bottom of your screen. So closing in every step of the way, Ben Watson on the 919 Yamaha. There he is. Sanai battling the elements, the heat, fitness issues, illness issues. Doing all he can just to stay ahead, but Jed Beaton picks him off like a sitting duck. But he's put up a very, very brave fight. Okay, it was a problem then for Varson. Looks like he's been down on his right shoulder. Not the way he wants to end the overall classification here then. The Hitachi KTM UK rider, fueled by Milwaukee. But you can already see Sanai just up on the pegs in cruise mode now. Hasn't really got a lot left to give. Watson is the next one to pick him off here in the background as he looks to go after 7th place. Fantastic effort though. Best ride of the year so far for the 57 Sanai. Takes a look over his shoulder. He knows there's a whole bunch of riders coming in behind him, and Watson, he'll be ruthless at the end of the straight. Business at the end of the day. Needs to go through. Needs to close in on Jed Beaton if he can. But Beaton also having a good ride here. Olsen, though, setting the fastest lap of the race on lap 11, a 140.7. Jorge Prado was a 141.3, so pulls back about just over half a second. That gap now 6.9 seconds. And with 10.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go, are we going to see a late charge from the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna in 2nd place? Here's Tom Vial in orange, heading downhill as he continues to pursue the Frenchman Tom Vial in 5th place. Podium as it stands right now would be Jorge Prado with 50 points on the board. 2 wins, 2 lots of 25. Thomas Olsen just there, number 19. Would be 2 lots of 22, 2 second positions, 44. Jago Kietz would be 3rd twice. So just as it was in race 1, it looks like it's going to finish like that in race 2. 1-1, 2-2, 3-3 for Prado, Olsen and Kietz. Vial would be 4th overall, and then Chervelin Sanai would be 6th if he stays where he is. Here is Jago Kietz. looking for what would be his third podium of the campaign. Third overall in the Netherlands round 3, second in Trentino, second in France, and a race winner that day as well. "12 laps complete. The gap coming down ever so slightly again this time around between Prado and Olsen. About another 2/10 pulled off. But here's Jacobi now. And I think there was just a hand gesture there from Sinai just to say, okay, I know you're there. You may as well just take me. Got nothing left to give. But having said that, he does fight back. But he'll just keep wide of the German as he heads down to the line. So Sinai now into 9th place. Jacobi up to 8th. The two satellite Kawasaki's making their way into the top 10, but it's Janai who's just starting to drop towards that 10th place. Prado leads, Olsen hits 3rd, Chevrolet 4, Vial 5, Beaton 6, Watson 7, Sinai 8, Jacobi 9, but for how much longer there is Maxime Renault in 10th place for Yamaha SM Action MC Migliori. 3 seconds further back, we've got Ika Larinaga from Marchetti Racing Team KTM. Just needs to tough this one out. Does the 57 of Sinai. This was Sinai just saying, you know what? Go on, mate. All yours, whenever you want it. Jacobi may have seen it, may not, but anyway, little resistance now from Sinai. Still trying to tough it out. Maxime Renault, the French rider, eases by the 57 and into 9th place. His teammate 4th, Michele Chervelin. So good showing in this GP for both Yamaha SM Action MC Migliori riders, because Renault will be inside the top 10 and Chervelin will also feature quite high, 5th overall if he stays where he is. .959, Maxime Renault now up into 9th place then. And there's Ika Larinaga closing in fast on Sinai as well. There's Evans as well. Evans now up into 12th. He should be able to break into the top 10 in the next 7 minutes. That'll just help his championship situation as well. Of course it will. But more on that in just a moment. Just under 7 minutes plus 2 laps to go then. Jorge Prado continues to lead MX2 Race 2 here at the Patron MXGP of Russia. We are at the circuit of Orléans. 7.3 seconds a gap between Prado and Olsen. Prado that time around a 41.0, gained half a second after losing about that kind of amount over the previous 2 laps to Olsen. So just letting Olsen know that, you know what, still there. Kiertz is 3rd, Chervelin 4, Vial 5, Beaton 6, Watson 7, Jacobi 8, Renault 9, but Sinai here is about to get picked off by not just Ika Larinaga, but also the 43 of Mitch Evans on the Honda just behind them. Here is Jed Beaton and Ben Watson. This is a fight for 6th place. It's been a titanic battle actually for Watson. He's been outside of the top 15 at the start of both races, and here he is knocking on the door in this second race for 6th position, but he needs to close down Jed Beaton and then find a way past. Beaton, not an easy customer to find his way through, find your way past either. It's good to see him up there as well. Saw him 3rd in the mud in Mantova, race 1, just a couple of rounds ago. But just a tough winter for the Australian after coming back from injury middle of the season last year. Watson, 5 minutes, you need to pass. He'll be like, okay. Doing all I can, boss. See how the circuit, once it's had this amount of rubber laid down on it, see in certain parts how hard and slick it is. All polished up, then you've got the grip over here where it's slightly darker. Remember the first time we came here when we had all the rain, that uphill there was so jagged and so edgy, so cut out by the end of it all. Here's Mitch Evans going after Sinai. So the Honda 114 Motorsports rider, number 43, second rider in shot. Now looking after Sinai for 11th. Sinai kept it out there as long as he could, but was always going to be difficult after the effort that he put in. He looks across to his right. Evans is going to be on the left. And again, Sinai doesn't want to take any chances, doesn't want any cheap shots from anybody. Evans not like that anyway, but just doing his best to stay out of the way, just to try and get this one over and done with. 4 minutes plus 2 laps to go. There's Walsh there, and then Harrison, and then Boromec. So queuing up behind Sinai now. A whole freight train of traffic. The man in white for Revo Husqvarna UK, Dylan Walsh, looking to try and nick 12th away now from Darren Sinai. There's Jago Kietz. He's closing in on Olsen. Look, Olsen on the top of the hill. Here's Jago Kietz. Are we going to see a reverse of positions here with 3.5 minutes plus 2 to go? Has Olsen hit the wall? Lap time last time around 40. Well, he lost 3/4 of a second to Jago Kietz, who has got him very much in his sights now, the Belgian. And if he does find his way through, he'll take second overall with a 3-2. And it'll be third overall for Olsen with a 2-3. And it'll be 2 more championship points lost to Jorge Prado as far as Olsen is concerned. That's the current podium as it stands right now. 50, 44, 40. First, seconds and thirds for our top 3 in both races if they were to put the flag out now. But it looks like Olsen has hit the wall. He is on borrowed time. Jago Kietz timing his run to the line to perfection. Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha rider here, 193, who won the FIM Junior 125 World Championship back here as an amateur in 2016 with a second and a first. Obviously he has a good feeling with this track. And really starting to come of age, really starting to believe himself as well. The end of the straight, past pit lane, nothing in it now between these two. 42.3, 41.5, another chunk of time pulled back by the Belgian, but maybe we're starting to see a bit of a response here from Olsen. One thing's for sure, he will not give up those 2 points and that second place easily. Meanwhile, Prado has disappeared, 10.3 seconds now. Already into the second of 3 tabletops out of this next right-hander. Here's the Spaniard. And with just less than 2 minutes to go, Prado is looking good for win number 13 so far this year as well, don't forget. Yes, doesn't want to get involved in an unnecessary battle with the 19, but Olsen rolling up his sleeves, still saying to Jago Kietz, you need to challenge me, and you need to find your way past me if you want those 2 extra championship points to keep their championship at 66 points gap between second and third. Nicely done through there for the young Belgian. Chervin still 4th, about 14 seconds further back. Vial 5th, about 2 behind the Italian. Then we have Beaton, Watson. Those 2 about a second apart last time around. Are we going to see any changes in that section of the top 10? Yes or no? 42.0, 42.1, so marginally quicker for Olsen over Geertz that time. Chervin about to hit the line any moment now as he goes through in 4th place. Here's your race leader, Jorge Prado. Doing something of a demolition job in race 2. Back to second and third though, Olsen and Geertz. Geertz getting closer again. Jed Beaton in 6th place meanwhile sets his fastest lap of the race, a 42.4, but Watson behind him, a 41.9, so 0.6 in it as they hit the line. So are we going to see Watson all over the back of Beaton in a couple of moments' time? I would suggest we are. And while Watson is going after Beaton, his teammate, Jago Kietz, continues to go after Beaton's teammate as they battle it out for second position and the second step of the podium. here in Russia. Oh, a little bit squirrely there from Olsen. Cost him a little bit of time. Kietz right back onto the rear wheel of the Husky. Takes an outside line, tries to get good drive coming out of that turn, but loses out. I think Watson may have found his way past Jeff Beaton. So Watson now up in the 6th position, just before the completion of the second sector. Here he is. Watson just going through. There's Beaton. He's just lost a position to the guy ahead of him in that bottom corner, Ben Watson. So nothing wrong with Watson's fitness when it comes to riding in the hot conditions here. He has about 5 seconds to make up to Tom Vial, though. Is he going to be able to do that? Similar lap times, but Watson quicker than the young French rider as they enter the penultimate lap here in Russia. The fight for second still not decided here either. Bottom of the hill here in race 1 is where Jorge Prado ran it up the inside of the Dane to take over the lead with about a lap and a half to go. Holding a slightly tighter line there this time, doesn't want to fall for the same trick twice. Hasn't needed to look over his shoulder, he knows exactly who's there and how close he is. Oh, nicely done there from Kietz. Good corner speed that time around. Oh, slight bobble on the exit of the turn though. Had to sit up and correct. Loses time here, does he? Not really. This is going to be where the pass might happen if he's close enough on the final lap. If he hasn't already found a way through. Slightly different line through that turn this time around. Doesn't lose any time to Olsen. Is he going to be within striking distance by the end of this straight and do what he did to Sinai earlier on in the race? I don't think he's going to be close enough to go wide and cut corners. Holds a nice tighter line though. Here's Prado going into the final lap. The Red Bull KTM rider has led every single one of the 19 laps on offer at the moment as he goes in pursuit of victory number 13. And Grand Prix win number 23. Good rescue job this though from Thomas Olsen. Started to feel the heat, started to fall back into the clutches of Jorgo Kietz, and Kietz just not able to execute. Still half a lap to go though. Looking for traction through that bottom right-hander. Jorgo Kietz gets good distance over that step up. Back onto the rear wheel of the Husky. He's going to have to get aggressive here on this final lap, Jorgo Kietz. Is it going to be here? He runs it down the inside. He had good drive in and out of this turn last time around. Oh, slightly different line process through there. Knew the outside was long, but is it going to be the pass here? No, because Olsen goes defensive. Red Kietz like a book. Still time though for this to happen. Both riders struggle through that long deep rut. Jorgo Kietz still not out of time yet. Prado though, a couple of corners from home, he takes a look across to his right. Let's focus on here. Olsen does hold second position. He may have just done enough here, barring any little mistakes through this rhythm section. Prado wins here. He goes 1-1 and he takes his 23rd Grand Prix victory. Olsen hangs on for second. Kietz hangs on for third. Your winners here this weekend then, Prado, Olsen and Kietz. Olsen set the fastest lap on the final lap, but your podium will be Prado, Olsen and Kietz. Get the rest of the riders over the line. Michele Chervelin, 26 seconds off the leader. Jorge Prado, who backed it off on the final lap. His lead was 4.6 seconds when it came down to it. Tom Vial, 5th, Ben Watson 6th, Jeff Beaton 7th, Jacoby goes through in 8th just from Maxime Renault, and then Mitch Evans does break the top 10. That's going to be good enough for 6th overall for the Aussie, but he was hoping for more than that after finishing 5th in race 1, I'm sure. Ike Larinaga picks up 11th ahead of Matej Boromé. Dylan Walsh 13th for the Revo Husqvarna rider. Brent Van Donnick 14th, Richard Sakina will be 15th, but here's our double race winner, Jorge Prado.
Jorge Prado, congratulations. Went 1-1 under very tough conditions. You made that second race look easy. How was it from your seat?
Oh yeah, the start was the key now. First moto, it was very hard for me, so, I was very focused on the start. I really wanted to get that one and got the whole shot, and then good laps. Track is very sketchy, very hard, so I'm happy to get with a 1-1 out of Russia, and just say to Claudio that we miss you here on the track, and see you next weekend.
Congratulations, thank you. I go at the front.
Jorge Prado goes 1-1 here this weekend then at the Patron MXGP of Russia here at Orleanoc. Second race slightly easier than the first one. Had to wait till a lap and a half to go in moto number 1, but made no mistakes this time around, grabbed the foxhole shot, and from there led every single one of those 20 laps on offer. So as we look over the shores of the Black Sea, Jorge Prado then your winner from race 2. Olsen second, hits third, Chevrolet fourth, Vial fifth, Watson sixth, Beaton 7, Jacoby 8. Ninth for Maxime Renault, and Mitch Evans climbed his way to 10th. Ika Larinaga 11, Boirame 12, then Walsh, Van Donnick, Sakina, Sterry, Osland, Sinai, Harrison 19th in the end, and Brian Moreau. The overall classification then, the Patron MXGP of Russia here at Orleanoc. Jorge Prado, your overall winner. Maximum points for him. Pair of seconds for Olsen, pair of thirds for Jargo Kietz. That's your top three. Vial fourth, Chevrolet fifth, Evans 6, Watson 7, Jacoby 8. Ninth overall for Maxime Renault, and Jed Beaton rounding out with 10th overall here this weekend. Championship looks like this then. Of course, Prado will extend his lead to 20 points now over Olsen. It was 14 at the start of the weekend. He, with those 1-1s and the 2-2s of Olsen, of course, that's another 6-point gain. And Kietz loses 4 points to Olsen. Chevrolet up to 10th, and Renault gains a couple positions as well. Manufacturers' Championship looks like this. KTM in control on 385, Husqvarna 332, Yamaha there in third on 302. Honda and Kawasaki, the other manufacturers that have scored points here this season. The sun continues to beam down here in Russia. It's been hot all weekend long, 30, hotter than that at times before race weekend. And barely a breeze as well. And when it was breezy, it was always very, very warm. We'll go see the podium in a moment. But before we do that, let's take a look at the foxhole shot, shall we? Jorge Prado was almost back in Spain by the time he hit the line. 10 in the books now for the Red Bull KTM rider. And he turned it into his 13th race win of the season. Of course, he leads that classification as well. KTM's, though, as you can see, 14 hole shots between them. Kawasaki had one with Roman Amosdijk in Portugal. Sinai with one in Moto number 1, actually. Anyway, getting ready for the podium here and the Patron MXGP of Russia for MX2. Third overall with a pair of third-place finishes. The Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha rider Jargo Kietz on the podium for the 4th time this year. Second overall, Thomas Kjær Olsen, Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Been a tough weekend for those guys. He goes 2-2, loses 6 more points in the championship chase, but another 1-1. And his 7th Grand Prix victory of the season. Win number 23 now for Red Bull KTM's Jorge Prado, who will stand once again on the top step of the podium. David DeCarli will be the team manager that stands on a podium this weekend in the absence of Claudio DeCarli, of course his dad. A minor surgical procedure will keep him out of action for a couple of rounds. But trophies being handed out. Akapov Arta, acting head of Tuapsi investigation unit, gives a third place trophy to Yargo Hietz. And Monster Energy Kamir Yamaha. Second overall trophy goes to Thomas Olsen. Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Been on the podium every round this year apart from Trentino, where he was 5th. So the consistency is finally there for Olsen. But the winner's trophy to Jorge Prado from the main man, Alexander Zeus, the MFR president. And of course, he'll do the team trophy honours as well to Red Bull KTM Ducati Racing. David Ducati, of course, on hand to gratefully accept another winner's trophy for all of the team's hard-earned efforts. The red plate continues to stay on the front of the KTM of Jorge Prado, Mr. Antonio Alia Portela, the FIM CMS director, handing him his red plate as we head to Latvia. That's your podium here. Jorge Prado, Thomas Kjær Olsen, and Yargo Hietz. National anthems up next. Jorge Prado, Thomas Kjær Olsen, Yargo Hietz, your top 3 here at the Patron MXGP of Russia. As always, we'll talk to the top 3 just after the best moments. So enjoy those before we get to talk to these guys.
Congratulations, our winners, Jorge Prado. And second and third place, Yargo Hietz and Thomas Olsen. Спасибо всем.
Jorge Prado, congratulations, another overall victory, but 2 different races for you. The first race, not the best start, playing catch-up, but the second race, you made it look easy.
Yeah, first moto was a really tough one. Second moto, I made it way more easy, taking the whole shoot, and no, super happy. Hot conditions, very hard packed track, so happy to get out of this round with 1-1. A great job to Davide Carli. This race, he was the boss on the team, so he did a great job, and thank you everyone for the support.
Congratulations. Second overall today, we have Thomas Kjær Olsen. Thomas definitely getting better starts, hard charge in that first race. It looked like you hit a wall in that second race, but then you defended that second position.
Yeah, I was actually in the middle. I was trying to be a little bit conservative and not make too many mistakes and be smooth instead. And yeah, there in the end, I had a little bit left for one last push when Yargo was right on me. And it was definitely 2 tough motos, but 2 all right starts really helped me in the right direction. I was battling with, I was leading a lot of laps today, so lots of positives to take away from here.
Congratulations, thank you. Third overall today we have Yargo Hietz. Yargo, 2 consistent motos, 2 third-place finishes. A good drive in that second race, but you just didn't have the strength to pass TKO.
Yeah, 2 solid motos today. First heat, I had a really good start and finished 3rd, so was happy with that. And then the second heat, again a good start, but made a little mistake in the first corner. And I think I was 6th on the first lap, and then made my way up to 3rd. And at the end, I was trying to pass Thomas, but yeah, just didn't make it. And but still solid 3rd place and 2nd podium in a row, so I'm really happy with that.
Great job, thank you.
Jago Kietz comes away from Russia with his 4th podium visit of the year. Valkensoir Trentino with the first 2, France and Russia, both of those back-to-back. 3rd overall this weekend, 2 third-place finishes. If he had had a better start in that second race, who knows? But the result is what it is. 3rd overall this weekend for the young Belgian. Thomas Karros was happy with his performance. He's only been off the podium once this year. He's already had a win as well, but another pair of seconds means that he does lose 6 more points to Jorge Prado as we head to the Sand of Latvia in a week's time at Kegums. But it was still a good performance for the Dane. And Jorge Prado goes 1-1 again this weekend in Russia. He's ridden 7 Grand Prix this season. He's won all 7 of them. He does it again here in Russia at the Patron MXGP of Russia at Orleans.